I'm Phil, and this Christmas we're going to make things. So let's have a look at my projects. I've done this for quite a few years now, and I run workshops at the local libraries for students interested in STEM. So the idea is that instead of buying Christmas decorations, you make your own. And I'm going to use my own Christmas lights. And I'm going to replace the hazardous neon lights that I've had for the last 30 years with LED lights. And my LED lights will be programmed with a small computer. And I also want to synchronize lights with music. And in the projects that I do today, I'm going to actually start off with music, and then we'll move on to lights, then synchronize them together. And for STEM students, they can learn about coding. And while we've looked at the microbit in the past, this year we're going to look at M5 stack computers. And the software that we do on that is both UIFlow, and we're going to use C++ for the more advanced projects on the Arduino IDE. So let's have a look at the projects. I've done quite a few in the past, and I've put the lights on the tree. I've used squishy circuits. Here's an example of that, where you can use Play-Doh to make your own Christmas decorations and use LEDs to light them up. So we've done that in the past, and we've also looked at Santa. Now, this version of Santa, here we go, there's Santa, and it goes outside, has fiber optics right throughout, and you can add your own LEDs to illuminate Santa. And there's Jason looking at the final product. So that's a project we've done in the past. This year, we've got lights, the Christmas music, and we'll start off with the Noel. Now, this project on Noel, see if we can collapse all the different headings, and we'll go through those separately. Okay, so we'll have a look at what it looks like. We're going to use music from a book like this one, and it's going to represent music in a very simple way. And what we're going to do is transfer that music onto computer code. And that's what we've done here. We've created lists for each of the lines on the music, and we're going to show the music also in the boom whacker colors. So going to learn a little bit about MIDI, and we're going to use a MIDI unit like this one. And this is the song that we're going to transfer and translate that into computer code. Okay, so the objective is to code a Christmas carol like Noel to the core computer with a synth unit. S-Y-N-T-H. We might actually change that, correct the spelling as we go through. And we're going to explore the connection between maths, coding, and music, and particularly MIDI. And we're going to use a boom whacker colors also. We're developing projects for STEM clubs, and the background is that we're going to see how music is represented. And one way to do that is to use maths using arrays to code the tune. And we're going to pass the tune on to a MIDI synthesizer. And in this project of Noel, we're only going to really just concentrate on the pitch. And in particular, we'll be using the C major scale. Okay, so we'll have a look at the hardware we're using. All the devices come from M5 Stack, and we're going to use the Core computer. Quite a powerful little computer, and it's been out for a few years now. And most of the projects that M5 Stack do use this computer. And the unit we're going to use is the synthesizer, which is the unit synth, and it will be connected to the Core computer. And we need a cable that goes between the two of them. Software-wise, we're going to use UIFlow, and we're going to paint our own user interface using the IDE online. And we'll have a look at the code in a minute. This is what the code looks like, and we'll go across now and have a look at that. So this is the UIFlow on my Chrome browser. So the different parts of it, on the left, we have the user interface, and we select the units that we're interested in. So the unit that I'm going to select comes from this library of units, and I'm going to select the synthesizer, which I can either go to MIDI or I can go to the synthesizer. And there's the synthesizer, and it's going to go on port C. So it's selected that already. Now, when I do that, it adds the possible code statements for that synthesizer. And all we do is just drag the ones that we're interested in. So the most important one will be playing the pitch, and that will go into a loop. And here we're playing the synthesizer, and all we have to do is select the MIDI note number. So the maximum is 127, and we could start off with C at 48. An alternative way is just directly get the C code. And so both of those, while we need to add the volume, so our velocity now is on maximum for both. So that's how we start off our program. We've got the setup and the loop. Let's go across and have a look at a completely developed program that's been done already. Okay, so this is the program we're going to concentrate on today. And on the left, we've got the setup, and we've split it up into various functions. And the ones in yellow in the next column are for event programming when we press buttons. And we're representing 3 different ways of playing the music. And we'll have a look at those in a minute. Let's zoom in and have a look at that. We'll bring that across, and you can see the startup over here. So we're setting up our parameters of maximum velocity. We're setting up Noel, and there are 2 ways that I'm doing that. We'll have a look at that in a minute. We're going to set up music box on our MIDI unit. And we also look at our Noel representation and get the maximum length of the array and show that. So the parameters that I've painted here on the left are going to be used by my program. So label 9, if we look at it over here, is right over here, and it's used to tell us how long the array is. So when we set up our music, let's have a look at it. We'll go and look at how Noel. This is the first way. It's a simple array of notes. And I haven't actually filled in all the notes for Noel. I've really just gone through the scale here to represent that one. The one I'm going to really concentrate is on the second way. And here is the second way of setting up Noel. So if you look at the book that I previously looked at, what I'm doing here is making a list of each line, and each line is a string of ASCII values representing the note. So E, D, C, D, E, F, G is the first line of Noel, And then we go on to the second line and we convert each of those into lists. Later, we're going to play those when we look at the buttons on the bottom. They trigger events. So if I press button A, I'm going to press tune 2. I'm going to play that, and tune 2 is going to take one line at a time and play the note. So playing the notes is over here. And what I do is go through that list and go through line by line. And depending on the music representation, if it's a C, we will set the pitch, the current pitch, to 48, which is MIDI for C, and I show that color. And after we go through the case statement or the switch statement, we then play the pitch current note at maximum velocity on our MIDI unit and show that on the circle. And for C, it'll be red. Then we wait and we then scan through the rest line by line, each of the MIDI notes. And that's really the essentials of the UI program that'll be played on the core computer. Okay, so how did it go? Well, I achieved the results, and that is that I was able to code the Christmas Carol onto the core computer with the synth unit. And we explored, when we did that coding, how music can be represented with arrays using mathematics. And we're able to relate the music to MIDI code. So we're looking at music in 3 different ways, with the printed notation of the scale. We could also look at it from the MIDI notes and the representation it has, so we can play directly the music. And we'll also can represent the music using the boom whacker colors. And this project was used by STEM clubs this year, and it adds to the collection that we do for the STEM clubs. So the background, we were able to look at music, arrays, and we were able to pass a tune from the printed note to a MIDI representation. This project concentrated more on pitch, and it used the C major scale. So the references for this project, if you're interested in representation of music, there's plenty online that looks at that. And one way, when we're introducing music, is to use boom whackers, and that uses the color representation. And the hardware that I'm using is the M5 stack, and we might go across and have a look at that at the moment. So we'll just open that up. And here is the synthesizer unit. And it's a complete synthesizer, and it plays MIDI notes, quite a low cost. And I think you'd have a lot of fun with that unit. And you can program it either in C++ or in the UIFlow. So let's look at a more advanced method of programming music for Christmas. We're going to use the Arduino IDE. And I'm going to put this on 2 computers. One's going to be the StickC, and you'll see that displayed in a minute. So we're going to have a look at the music We Wish You a Merry Christmas, also on the core computer. So let's have a look at that. The objective here is to play a song using the MIDI unit, and that song's going to be We Wish You a Merry Christmas. And so we take printed music like that and transfer it to arrays in C++. So hardware-wise, we're going to use from M5 Stack, the Core 3 computer and the Synth unit. Software-wise, we're going to use the Arduino IDE, And the code for that, we'll have a look at that in now. So here's the code that I've got for it, and it uses a library of music that's been coded already. Uh, so what I'm doing is just using that library together with routines that allow me to put the music onto a computer. Okay, so while we've done it with the core, we've also done it with the StickC. So here's what it looks like on the desktop, the same objective um, and the hardware. This time we're using the StickC, the same unit, and we need to connect them with a Grove cable. Software-wise, identical to the previous one, except we do change some of the statements for our display. So this time we call up the StickC library together with the MIDI unit or the synth unit, and we call up the melody. And we'll have a look at that in a minute. So just going through the code, you can see that it's quite short, and we'll play it as a demo that will follow. Here we're going to take Christmas music from various sources, including a book like this, which represents Christmas music in a very simple way. So we might have a look at Noel, and Noel is here. And you'll notice that it represents music quite differently with colours, and these are the boomwhacker colours. You can see the first line starts off with E, D, C, D, E, F, G, and we're going to transfer that coding system onto computers. And here we've got the core computer, and it's representing A at the moment. And I've got three different ways of representing that music, and we'll have a look at that in a minute. So we're going to play Noel from the core computer to a MIDI unit, which is external over here. And we'll also look at a more advanced method of doing this using the StickC computer, and it's using the C++ computer language. So let's start off with the core, and we'll play the first representation of the music. Here we're going to use the StickC computer with a battery booster. There's no external power supply. It's all from the batteries of the computers. And we have a synth unit, which is MIDI based. And just to play it, we just press the button. It goes through a color sequence. As an extra, I'm showing you how I prepare the music right at the beginning and at the end of this video. And I'm creating my own music, although the actual MIDI files come from the internet. I'm arranging those myself. I select the instruments. So this is the Ableton Live 12, and here I'm playing most of the music with the grand piano, basic bells, and a harp. So As an example, we'll play the first one